You're listening to the Loving Your Own Soul podcast, and I'm your host, Britt. Guided by my own intuition, my intention is to deliver genuine conversations centered around health and wellness, spirituality, self-expression, and culture. In this space, I will provide you with real-life stories, theories, and inspiring perspectives to help you uncover and tap into your own true potential. I'm so grateful you've chosen to tune in with me on this mindful exploration to living a more fluid life through a deeper connection to the soul. Now let's dive into today's journey. Welcome to the Loving Your Own Soul Weekly Digest. If you're new around here, I'm Britt, and I am so grateful to have you here. Every Thursday, I will digest and decode a different health and wellness, spiritual, trending, or cultural topic so that you can better understand and feel more on trend in the ever-changing world we live in. And this week, I will be giving you the download as to why your location can't determine your happiness. Now, as always, please do not forget that I'm not a trained medical professional, and while I am certified through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, I do not claim to be an expert in any of these areas. Our weekly digest episodes simply stem from theories, research from qualified field professionals, and my own findings and opinions on the areas we discuss. For any specific questions or topics you would like to see on here, definitely please feel free to connect with me on Instagram or shoot me a DM at Loving Your Own Soul. Would love to chat with you. And of course, please always remember to do your own research. The world we live in is so beautiful, but at the same time, it is more than okay to listen to that inner voice. So let's dive in. All right, well, why can your location not determine your happiness? So this episode, really all my episodes, but this one in particular definitely comes from experience. So number one thing that I do want to say is we are all energy. Energy is everything. We can feel energy even if we don't consciously know that we feel energy. So while I'm going to talk about the ways that a location cannot specifically determine your happiness, or really the fact that we shouldn't rely on a location to dictate our happiness, I am aware that yes, our environment does have an effect on our overall well-being, health and wellness, happiness, etc. I completely agree with that. I mean, we all know that when we're in a cluttered space versus a clean space, how our energy shifts and how much more calm and collected we feel. And same thing when it's been sunny for a week compared to when it's been cloudy and rainy or snowy for a week. Seasonal depression and mood swings and all those things are very real. I'm not here to say that they are not by any means. I feel them as well. I'm so sensitive. Nothing makes me happier than being out in the sun, on the earth, by the water, space all around me. Absolutely. Our environment around us definitely plays an effect. But when we are on this journey of trying to understand ourselves and seeking for more and really just going through this crazy road of life, for me, I really used to, at one point in my life, really try to define my happiness based on my location and where I was. And it wasn't until recently, about a year and a half ago, I moved just outside of the Tampa area, really kind of in between Tampa and Orlando, but it's a little bit closer to Tampa, and it's a small town in Florida. It's a beautiful little lake town. And at first, and I was familiar with this town, I did know it well, but I was like, ooh, I don't know about this. But I did it. I had an inkling. Intuitively, it was like, yeah, this is going to make sense. And what I realized in this experience was that I don't need a specific location to make me happy, because I make myself happy. And while yes, an environment enhances us, and those are all, little added things as to who we are, just like if you're someone who cares more about fashion versus furniture or whatever we elect to spend our money on. And for me, I got here and was like, wow, I am completely okay and more than okay and really fucking pumped with who I am and where I've come in my journey. And I realized that had I moved to this location in different parts and pieces of my life, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And that was because I was previously focused on relying on these external forces, or maybe being, kind of blindly guided, thinking that all these external factors is what was going to make me happy. But really, it was my internal rest and my internal clarity and my newfound sense of confidence and courage and bravery and just completely falling in love with myself. And I feel like I've been on this journey of falling deeper and deeper in love with myself and who I am, and have really been working my muscle of speaking my truth and not feeling scared to, which that is a whole nother topic in itself that I'm actually working through, which we will talk about here in the future, because there's definitely a lot to unpack with why we feel that we can't speak our truth or be who we are or have to re-find our voice. And a lot of that stems backwards to childhood and things like that, but another conversation for another time. However, what I realized was that previously in my life, while I am an adventurous person and a Sagittarius moon astrologically, and I love to travel, I love nothing more than experiencing new places and seeing all that they have to offer. I do think travel is one of the most healthy things that we can do for our mind and bodies. But at the same time, I was moving to these locations and I just I always thought that, oh, well, when I move here, this will happen. And when I have this job, this will happen. And if I live in this downtown area and am by these trendy restaurants and these shops and can walk here and just, again, go to all these external things outside myself, well, then I'll feel happy. Then I'll feel complete. Then it will all be okay. Or same thing. Once I make this level of money, well, then I'm going to be okay. But the truth is, you define your happiness. Your internal state of peace and resolution and love for yourself is what determines your happiness. So yeah, a location really doesn't matter. If you're miserable or struggling mentally and dealing with depression and anxiety, which, by the way, those are things that I definitely have to move through. I mean, I really don't think that there are far and few between of us who actually do get to go into this life not experiencing depression and anxiety. And if you're listening and you're one of those people, I mean, wow, you're lucky. That's amazing. But what I'm trying to say is your location really is kind of non-existent, because whatever is going on inside, whatever you haven't worked through, whatever experiences, they're going to follow you wherever you go. And for me, I was landed in this spot. And even my husband, Dan, who I talk about all the time, he was like, oh, I know you're not happy here. You're not going to be happy here. And even while we were here, a full few months, year into living here, he was like, listen, I know you're not happy here, but like, we're going to go somewhere else. And I kept telling him, I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm actually great. I love it here. And it would just, that example just shows what he was thinking and what he thought that I was going through, because of what I had, kind of experienced previously in life. And it was just such a refreshing notice of my own journey to know that, wow, I've gotten to a point where it doesn't matter. I don't have to live in this flashy city. I don't have to live in the quote unquote trendy part of town. I don't need to live in this up and coming, super cool area to like define my self-worth. What I have is what I have right here and now inside of me, and that is me. And I've been able to just fully appreciate everything that I have so much more deeply than I ever have. And that's not to say that I haven't appreciated things in life, because I have. I've loved everywhere I've lived. I've loved every choice I've made, the good and the bad. It is all happening for me, and I'm not saying that like, oh, I should go back in time and do anything different, because all those experiences built me to who I am right here, right now. But to not be so focused on the external forces and to be so happy and proud of who I am is just amazing. And it's been a journey, and it didn't happen overnight. This is many years in the making. But if you're someone right now who's feeling stuck or feeling like, oh, if I could just get out of here and go here, things would be different, I would encourage you just to ask yourself, like, what would actually be different? And in any environment, is there a shift that needs to happen internally? Could you actually love the environment you're in right now if just a shift would happen? Is there something that you keep chasing that, maybe you don't need to be chasing it. Maybe there's something deeper inside of you that you're not looking at in the chase. And I know I'm, telling this story during the times of COVID that this time last year, we were like, oh, come May or June, it'll all be gone. And a year later, we're still here. And many, many of us have been stuck inside of our homes for the last 12 months. And I have so much compassion for all of you. So I'm not trying to discredit anything that's happening right now. If you need to leave your place, like I said, your environment very much affects you. However, the location does not. And what is cool is now I get to really intuitively pick where I want to go, how I want to spend my time, and ways that will enhance me instead of always looking for it to give me something. Now it's just more this active enhancement and ooh, maybe this will happen here, maybe this will shift, and even studying a little bit of astrocartography, which is something I find so interesting. I'm definitely going to have a reader come on the podcast to talk in depth about how your astrological makeup can actually depict on a map locations that are better or worse for you, or places you're going to learn lessons and all the things. It's really interesting. So anyway, yeah, it's really refreshing to see. So if you're someone who's feeling, maybe a little triggered by this conversation and realizes some things that you've been leaning into differently, just take a pause and reflect inward, because not one person's journey is like the other. However, we are all here for one another. And if you are listening to this episode and feeling something, that is not a coincidence. So definitely lean into that. And I really don't have tips for you here on this experience. It's really just a telling of my own experience and awareness, and really just realization that, the specific location or place you keep chasing, it's probably not going to make you happy. So give yourself a break, take a breath, and let's start tuning inward, finding the right practitioner and guides and people to assist you, because I know the journey is not easy and it is scary, but maybe just take a breath and see what you've been chasing. There might be something more internally that you're actually chasing after. So that's really all I have for you here today. I love you all. And thank you so much for tuning in to today's weekly digest. And I look forward to continuing the journey with you again soon.